Oh, okay, okay, okay. Peace and blessings, everyone. I didn't realize that the um the video was live. So I am coming on, not planning on being on here for a very long time. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We just came from April, which is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Did a whole lot of work throughout the PD in South Carolina. Um, Talking about sexual assault, consent, things of that nature. May is also Teen Pregnancy Prevention Month. So if you didn't get a chance to tune into the Noontime My Time podcast with Miss Tanya, I was one of the guests on there today. And we had excellent conversation talking about sexual health, which in my opinion is one of the things that contributes to our overall health as well as our mental health. But I did want to come on really briefly to talk about some community events that I personally am working with other people on, as well as some updates for my mental health. So, what is mental health? When we talk about mental health, we're talking about literally our mind, the health and overall well being of our mind, our cognitive and executive functioning, right? And mentally, whatever it is that you go through, it a lot of times affects us physically. So, as a man thinketh, then he doeth, or he becomes, right? And if we're not mentally well, then we'll oftentimes find ourselves starting to experience different symptoms or side effects of that in a physical realm, right? And then there are some people who may have mental health that is sometimes compromised due to them having chronic conditions, which after you experience chronic pain for a long time, it's hard to stay in a place of being, extremely positive or mentally well, because when your body is kind of not doing its best, it will start to play on your mental. So we know that our mental health, our physical health, our spiritual health, all of these things are tied into each other, as well as our social health. Who you spend your time with, what you're exposed to, what you're around, it starts to play into how well you will be mentally, how well you'll be physically, how well you'll be spiritually. So all these things are interwoven and working together. So mental health updates for me. I had therapy today, and I had a whole transparency moment with my therapist, and I was just like, "Look, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm really surprised that I'm still coming to therapy because I have what I recognize to be a runner spirit. And when I say that, I'm like, I hear the song, she's a runner, she's a track star. So long story short, I have the character traits of being a little fickle at times, and the reason being is that I have in the past experienced anxiety, and when I go through anxiety, it causes me to want to go the other way. Like, I want to go sit down, I want to shut down, I want to withdraw, I don't want to be around people. I feel extremely nervous about a situation or a thing, and after that, it's just like me, the person who's normally outgoing, the person who's normally outspoken. I don't want to speak. I don't want to go out nowhere. I just want to be within, right? But I have learned to find better ways of coping with my anxiety and to better manage my health. And a lot of our mental health comes from the messages that we're receiving from others, but more so the messages that we tell to ourselves. So if you haven't had a chance to tune into Giraffe Oshun on Facebook, her Peace of Mind Mondays, she's been breaking down some components and aspects of mental health, and I really like the way that she was breaking down what anxiety is and what our mental health is, and how our self-talk is one of the things that kind of not only perpetuates our mental health, but it actually helps us to like have mental health. How you talk to yourself matters. What messages you are receiving about yourself matters. So you can't be around people that's going to speak negatively over you, or after a while you're going to speak negatively over yourself. And so then when your self-talk is you always talking crazy to yourself, you're going to have a vicious cycle. Or if you're not exposing yourself to new things, new environments where you can kind of get a fresh perspective on yourself, then the way that you think about yourself will be quite stale. And even that is detrimental. So you want to make sure that you take care of that. But I've been learning myself. I've been studying myself way more than what I've been studying other people, right? And I am a people person, and I am quite observant. And I think also because I'm interested in the arts, very creative and things of that nature, I have a tendency to just kind of observe people because art imitates life. And I usually use that for my acting skills. But as I've grown older, I've learned to pay myself attention and to understand the motives of why I do what I do, when I do what I do. And I started learning. I had some mental health issues, and most of it was related to anxiety and skills, other skills that I didn't have, or the skills that I had was like poor time management skills and procrastination. But those things was also related to me having these negative ideas and thoughts in my head about my own self or about how things was going to turn out. So I would procrastinate and not prepare myself, and then I would turn around and use the terrible outcome as a way of justifying, like, see, this is why you shouldn't have done this, or oh my goodness, you could have did this or that, but you didn't do it. And it would just make me feel bad. And then the next time when I would have another thing coming up, I would turn around and I would start, shrinking and talking crazy and negative to myself. So I've learned time management skills has helped me a whole lot. Being around other people who have expertise in a specific area has helped me to learn that I too can gain expertise in that area. And so now I have a little bit of confidence in myself. My mental health has been changing, and I've been studying myself and realizing that I can't keep using apathy as a coping mechanism. The whole I don't care and acting like you're just so carefree and things of that nature, that it doesn't really work. What it yielded was mediocrity. And then once again, I would turn around and be upset about results that I didn't work to get, because at the same time, me being realistic with myself, I was so busy trying to act like I didn't care. I did not prepare, and then as a result of being unprepared, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So a lot of the success that I've had, a lot of times it was, yes, spontaneous. I have a good work ethic. So when I'm dedicated to something, I'm dedicated to it. But otherwise, I run if I get nervous. So me learning that about myself has been a game changer. Um, but yeah, mental health updates. I'm surprised that I didn't quit. Because tenacity ain't my strong suit. Something has to be like what I really really want to do in order for me to keep doing it. And I have quit a couple of things in my life, or a little bit of adversity come, and I'll try to stick it out. But after a while, I would start to feel like it was too much, and then I'll gracefully bow out. So I was having that whole moment with my therapist today, and just kind of let her know I'm really happy and proud of myself. I see myself growing. I'm still at a point in my therapy where I'm working through a lot of um, traumas that are more so related to uh, childhood issues, so inner childhood wounds. I haven't even got towards my adulthood stuff. Like, I say stuff about my adulthood and choices that I've made in my adulthood, but then it's still really rooted towards, abandonment issues from when I was little and things of that nature. So my biggest thing with mental health is me encouraging people to realize that it's okay to get help. It's okay to get someone to talk to. For those of us who are religious, it can feel like you are not supposed to seek out mental health, um, like counseling or things of that nature, because people have a tendency to think, oh, my religion should be sufficient, and it is. But for me, I'm learning that God speaks to us through people, right? And so there's no need for you to keep allowing yourself to suffer in silence, or to suffer alone, or to speak out, or to act out. Because a lot of times people are not suffering in silence. You're actually suffering out loud, but the way that you're suffering out loud looks different. It's not the I'm asking for help. It's the you picking up that bottle and overly drinking and waiting and acting out and thinking that somebody's gonna catch on. There's that song, I've been drinking more alcohol for the last past days. Did you check on me? Did you notice me? It's those are cries for help. So smoking every day, um like using pills and substances, uh I always think about cranes in the skies, trying to drink it away, smoke it away, sex it away, spend it away, overly being overly materialistic and all these are the things where we're showing that we're not suffering in silence. We're reaching out, we're giving a cry for help, but it doesn't look like us actually coming out and saying help, right? And I want to encourage somebody today, when it comes to your mental health, it is okay for you to literally just say help. Help. Go and seek professional help. And don't be intimidated or think that the counselor is going to be so invested in your life. This is why I love having a counselor. This is why I love having a counselor. My counselor, I know that session is from, start to finish. After me, she got other people coming in. So she's not going to be overly invested in my life to a point where I have to worry about if she's going to pick up the phone and start trying to call me, ask me, dig deeper, or if she's going to pick up the phone and try to talk to me about somebody else. She got so much other clients going on. Now, that doesn't mean that she's not present and aware, and present with me and aware of my situations or anything like that. But when I'm there, she's there, we're there in that moment. What I say, there's confidentiality. I don't have to worry about her running her mouth, going back and telling anybody anything. And I feel like me getting help mentally, going to get professional help and having someone that can just listen to me. Most of the time I be talking. The whole time. I be just sitting up there talking. I be talking till I get tired of hearing myself talking. I just look at her like, okay, I'm done. But the good thing about having a mental health counselor is it gives me an opportunity to vent. I don't have to worry about my business, whatever thoughts, feelings, emotions that I share. She lets me be vulnerable. I don't have to worry about it being spread outside of that business, that practice. And then the other really great thing is I don't feel like I'm burdening her, because this is literally her job. I have in the past not spoken to my family members and friends about things that I needed help with. And the reason is that I felt like I was protecting them from me being a burden. I didn't want to bother anybody with the things that I was going through. So a lot of times I would go through alone. A lot of times I was the person that my family members or friends will come to. So who's there for the person that's always there for everybody else? Hmm? So they say check on your strong friends. Sometimes checking on your strong friends might mean that you can't physically be there for them, but like just encouraging them to go and find somebody else, an objective listener, aka a counselor. That might be a way that we can help support the mental health of our strong friends, right? And there is nothing wrong with being vulnerable. Vulnerability is a strength, undoubtedly. So I just want to give those updates. But yeah, it's been like a full year. It's been like a full year of me going to counseling, y'all, and I've been consistent. I've been showing up every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks I've been showing up no matter what. I had a very traumatic experience happen last year in June, and I was so happy that I was already in counseling for it. Couple months rolled past by there. I had another situation happen. I was like, God, you knew what you was doing by allowing me to go ahead and be in this space, because coupled with prayer, coupled with my religious practices, coupled with mindfulness, coupled with me working on my nutrition and gut health, I can tell a very big difference in my mental health, my mental state now versus what it used to be versus what it could have been if I wasn't already in counseling and I went through some of the things that I went through. So alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Last but not least, like I said, I have an event that I'm working on with Miss Dee Dee from UND Fitness, Unity and Diversity Fitness in Marion, South Carolina, 326 North Main Street. I think I got it right. And we will be having a mental health event on May 20th. That is Saturday. That is also the same day as the Foxtrot. So go ahead and get on over there to Marion. Come see us before you go. Check out some of the other festivities. We're going to be talking about mental health as far as it goes with overall mental health, but nutrition, y'all. Fitness and nutrition plays a huge part of our mental health. I know for me, exercising, getting my body moving kind of helps me to let go and release some of that stress and tension, as well as just regular mental health when it comes to like um, different coping mechanisms and practices that we can do. So we have a couple of speakers coming. We're going to also be doing some activities for the youth. The major mental health issues amongst youth usually is centered around their identity and then bullying, which causes a lot of bullying is actually it is a result of poorly managed mental health. So you got a child that may not understand who they are and how they can relate to others. And so when they don't relate, they disrupt. And so what that looks like is they'll end up bullying another child. And because we have so much peer pressure, it might go from being just that one child bullying another child to group bullying. And so we want to encourage the improvement of our children's mental health so that they have such a strong sense of self and resilience, because it's not that the storms aren't going to come, it's just a matter of if these things show up in your children's life, how do we build them up so that if somebody says something to them out of the way, whether it's true or not, how do we not allow it to break us down? How do we rise above it? How do we turn around and let it roll off so that we're not overly internalizing the things that was spoken to a point where we have things like teen or youth suicide, and those are the things that we want to help. But hugely there's a lot of things that ties into our mental health, and we want to talk about that. So join us May 20th. Yes, Marion, South Carolina. So you from the PD, just come on out. Florence, Dillon, Marlboro, all the surrounding areas, Mullins, Johnsonville, all of y'all, come on out, come on out. Join us as we talk about our mental health, things that we can do to improve it, and ways that we can help uplift and encourage each other. So that's pretty much it. I hope I didn't take up too much of your time. Beautiful investment. Thank you all for who have tuned in, shared the live. Not that I think I'm special, but because the information in the message, like really and truly, at this point in time, yeah, I feel so humble, and I'm so glad I got to this point. Um, I've gotten to a point where it's just like I just got to do the work. I just got to share the message, and I don't care if y'all share anything or hype me. I don't care. It's about the message. So let's continue the conversation about mental health. As I said, too, May is also teen pregnancy prevention. If you did not get a chance to watch the conversation, the My Time, New Time, My Time podcast with Miss Tanya, it is on Facebook. You can rewatch it. It's on YouTube. You can definitely tune in, and you can find it on my page as well. But the conversation we had today, y'all, it's so much bigger than just our teens, so much bigger than just teen pregnancy prevention. It's about us minding our sexual health overall. And a lot of times, if your sexual health ain't in order, that's going to affect your physical health, and it's definitely going to affect your mental health, because nothing's more stressful than having soul ties with some people that you need to let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. um or messing around and catching something that you can't let go of, because that thing done grabbed a hold of you. And so you have to check yourself, prioritize all those things. Your health is important. So love you all, respect you all, protect yourselves. Do not neglect your mental health. Prioritize your mental health and your well-being. All right, so peace. Hold on, I got a phone. Okay. Peace, love, and piece of cake.